Okay. So we emerged from the forest onto the square in front of the castle, which is very massive. It's not like the elven castle in the Whispering Woods, which is sort of built into the trees and around the trees and encompassing the trees. It's a very traditional castle that's just been built in a very large... Please don't fill that square and just leave it.
Okay.
That's just being built in an extremely large clearing. And it's got very high walls and thick walls too, so it's well insulated against fire. And Santi says, there are no guards outside. I guess they're probably all inside hiding from that giant. Not sure why the king wouldn't take up arms against it, but I guess he couldn't risk it.
I mean, you felt what that thing can do.
Yeah, exactly. The thing almost killed us. If it hit me again, it probably would have.
I'm glad I was able to deflect most of the blow.
Yeah, you and that shield, Sarah. I'm starting to think maybe I should carry one.
I'm assuming basically how we can explain that. He sort of parried it with his blade, but
Yeah.
it's only sort of, so it didn't directly smash him and break his bones,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, exactly. Santi's going to suggest, should we knock on the door?
Or our buffs weren't off by now? There's 4 minutes left before the fight. So, and that fight probably took her off.
Well, by the time we hacked off his head and grabbed his crown and walked up to the castle...
I'm just saying we're gonna say the buffs were off, basically.
Except for mage armor.
Oh yeah, the ones that last longer. Bark skin is still on.
Yeah. So those are still up, but yeah, the other buffs would have worn off.
I just gotta get rid of them. So no more Eagle Splendor or Bull Strength. Sandy's Cat Grace were worn off.
Come here. Come here, Bubby. Good boy. Don't sit behind Daddy. Good boy. Put your cute face on the camera. Look at that cute face. Look at that cute face. Mozzie, you need to go on camera too. Come here. Come here, Bubby. Come here, Bubby. Oh, look, it's Moz. Mozzie's so cute. Mozzie's so cute.
And just so you know, Bark Skin is 10 minutes a level, so it's an hour. So it probably still has like 50 minutes left or something like that.
Yeah.
So that still has a while.
Okay.
Yep.
So, they're gonna all go up together. I'm really bad at keeping everything in frame. I was a director and an actor, not a camera person. Not a cinematographer. Okay. So, just let me know when you're done.
No, everything's settled. God, these rats, it's too hard to concentrate with two of them running around. I'm sorry, it is just too hard to concentrate.
Come on, boys. Let's go home.
Yep. I don't mind if they're right here. That's all good. It's just that they want to play, so.
Yes, they do.
There we go. There we go. They can play in there.
Not really. There's no room. But
oh well.
They'll
eat. They're eating. They're happy.
They're fine. Okay, so they come up and they pound, kind of like, it's a heavy, huge door, and it feels there's no give to it, which is either because it's barred or it's huge. And Santi like pounds on it and says, we're a company of 6. We've managed to foul the giant. Would you grant us entry?
If you want proof, you could see for yourself.
And a voice calls out from within, you may enter.
Casually?
Yep.
Sarah's like, well, that's... Thought it would be a bit more urgency, seeing the situation.
Imogen's like, maybe he's more easygoing than they said?
No, possibly. And Sandy, do you think we're walking into a trap, perhaps?
Sandy's like...
Not by the Silent King, I mean, but something could have happened.
It's occurred to me, but... what choice do we have? Even if Gale's invisible, he can't go in there without being noticed. We'd still have to open the door.
Of course. Let's be on our guard. It's alright. I'm not gonna have my weapon drawn, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm...
And Sandy's
I'll have my shield out.
Imogen and Adara are still protected, and so is Baal, so... If something's going on in here, I think unless we have to help people, I say we run.
Alright then.
If we can.
We've already expended most of our energy.
Hopefully everything's okay.
Alright.
Alright,
Let's
let's
go
enter.
up.
Now, I can't find the throne tile for some reason.
Up the...
So-
Shit. Oh, yeah, you're right.
I don't know where the throne tile is. I can't find it.
It's buried in it. I think it's in a dungeon. No. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. You come on, just keep moving. Keep.
Is it? Oh, actually, I think it might be a slanted tile.
It's a big one.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought too, but I looked at all the big ones.
Is it on the opposite side of these?
Oh, it might be.
That's not that one. It's probably that one. Yes,
Oh, it is. Okay, my bad.
So where do you want that? We'll just put it up there.
We'll just put it up there. And
There we go. Just
put him on the throne. Okay, so we'll enter in formation. I'm assuming we're not going to go any further in than is strictly necessary,
that's what I was
though.
thinking.
So... Okay.
Yep.
Can't really... There's a
Good
volume. Okay, so let's just move the squares. Oh, there you go. Let's just move the squares forward.
Yes. God, I hate stretching across for it.
I know. There we go. Okay, that's good enough. So, I know I'm using Albrecht's Mini, but don't really have a more fitting NPC
Oh, that's alright.
to use. So, they're alone in the room with a man who is presumably the Silent King, who's sitting in the throne, and he has a mug of ale in his hand. He, well, like the Mini, this is why I chose Mini, he has long blonde hair, and he's wearing, unlike the Mini, he's not wearing armor. He's actually dressed in like leather and silks, and he looks very kingly. Like, he's got a really kind of like kingly, ethereal kind of appearance, and he's wearing like a large bronze crown that's kind of ornate and kind of reminiscent of branches and stuff. And he isn't being attended to, but he looks to the group and says, "So you managed to slay the fell giant out there?"
So smooth. Yes, and a red dragon as well.
Truly. I had heard word of this red dragon, but it had not yet reached the boundaries of my woods. They are heavily protected against such magic that they possess.
So I assume I speak to the Silent King.
You do. Come forward.
I am going to detect evil as I'm going forward, just to see.
Yes.
I do sense something.
Yes.
I'm gonna stop Santy right there. I'm gonna just put my arm out.
Gale is going to
So,
kind of...
As long as I'm within 60 feet. Oh, I could sense
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's it.
Gale's kind of going to come out from behind and, like, tug
right
on...
there.
He's going to tug on Santy and Seraph's cloak. They're far enough away that, like... And he's cloaked enough that he can't really be made out. And he tells them, "That's not the Silent King."
And Sarah's gonna turn to Sandy. I sense it.
He hasn't finished talking.
Oh, okay.
That's not the Silent King. That's Avery.
I sense great evil. Would it be great?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, no, not great.
Oh, okay.
He's evil, but he's not like...
There is like an aura thing, like you guys should tell.
he has an aura, but it's not it's not even as overwhelming as the giant's was, actually.
Sarah's gonna say, I sense evil upon him, and though not as much as we felt with the giant.
Gale's like, Avery's bad, but in a weird way. And Santi's just like, the Silent King, or rather, Avery is going to call. Why do you hesitate? He's kind of like got a kind of playful lilt to his voice, and he like stands up and moves forward, and as he comes down, you can see the head of the Silent King on a pike behind the throne. And he says, I would think that after slaying my dragon and my giant, you would feel rather invincible.
Sarah's gonna... He's gonna think that that's the silent... Is it fair to assume it's a silent Saint King's head on the pike?
Yeah, it's fair to assume. He's wearing his crown, and there's a head on the... stabbed on the top of the throne, because it's got, like, branches. It's not really a pike. It's the branches, and it's stabbed onto one of those.
Sarah's gonna say, I know it's not to whom the Silent King to whom I speak.
And,
he's not gonna actually give full... He knows maybe it would be dumb to say he's Avery right away, but he knows...
And, Gale steps out, and, he takes off his disguise, and Avery kind of laughs, and he's like, Gale? Wow. Wasn't expecting to see you. How have you been? Gale's just like, what did you do? Why did you come here? And Avery was like,
I'm assuming the parties.
Avery's gonna say, I guess you could say little birdie told me that it was a good time to visit.
Dora's actually kind of not talking.
He's gonna like walk towards them.
Sarah's gonna kind of... He's not gonna draw... He's raising his shield.
Gale is going to like step between them, because
Seraph knows that fighting a god is probably incredibly...
Yes, and Gale knows that
idea.
Being...
Only if he had to, for
being
some reason.
what Gale is, he knows that at the very least, Avery can't kill him.
Oh, I see.
So he's stepping in front, and he kind of looks up to Red and says, you know, Gale, since you took my dragon, it seems only fair that I take yours. And he sort of like reaches out his hand, and Red just turns to ash. And completely just disintegrates into ash. So we're taking... I'll get the blue tack off later.
Do it, don't worry.
And
no, our pseudo dragon. Oh, that's gonna suck to get. Oh no. I'll stick it to.
He needs to be repainted anyway.
We'll scratch it off the blue tack eventually.
Yeah.
The poor dragon.
I know. I liked Red. And Gale just says, "You bastard!" And he's like, "I could say the same about you." So, these are your friends, huh?
Sarah's just kind of eyeing him. He knows
Gale's
that they're dead if he wants them to be, but
it doesn't.
He'll fight him if he won't go down without fighting.
It doesn't seem at the moment like Avery is interested in fighting them.
Well, he just disintegrated the dragon, so come on, that is a pretty offensive...
That's very offensive, but he hasn't reached for any weapons.
Well, that's why Seraph hasn't drawn his blade yet.
He hasn't reached... He has weapons on him, and he hasn't drawn them.
I'm going to say Seraph's hand is at the hilt of his sword, but not yet drawn.
Santi's too, and...
Adara is kind of... I would say she's at a loss for words. She does not know how to act around this guy.
Yeah.
one of their biggest enemies, and also the person who is why she is everything she is.
Santi kind of steps forward and he puts his hand on Gale's shoulder and says, "Hey, congratulations are in order. You married the Dark Fairy Queen. You married her recently, didn't you?" And Avery just kind of smiles and says, "That's quite polite of you. Thank you. I'm glad that you, at least, have some courtesy."
Is there if Seraph says something?
Yep. Always.
He's just gonna be, what is it that you want? Not, I don't want to say rude or polite or just like, I don't want to say, not an offensive way, but just like, he's just honestly confused. Like, why are you here? What do you want?
Avery's gonna say, with you, nothing, yet. It's curious. It was curious that you came here with so many friends, Adara.
Oh god, I don't know how she would react. This is like the worst. Oh man.
He's gonna like go to walk towards her.
I think she would be. She doesn't even know.
He's gonna go to walk towards her, but Gale's going to like step in front of him, and Gale says, "Leave her alone." And Avery laughs and says, "Oh, I see. You care for her. That's cute. You do realize she would never take interest in you in a million years. You never were the brightest." And Gale's kind of like trembling with anger. He's furious and he's also scared that he's gonna hurt his friends. And Gale says, "If you try and touch one of them, you know what I can do." And Avery says, "Well, I know that your father wants you to be able to do it, but whether you can is a completely different story now, isn't it? I don't know we'd be fighting this war if you could do that, if you could kill me. I bet you wish you could right now, though. Bet that would be really satisfying for you. Then you'd go into your father, no doubt, and, well, we can't really have you going around wiping out gods. See, you're a mistake, Gale. You were never meant to exist. You're an abomination. You know that. That's why you hide your appearance from them. They probably can't stand to look at you as you really are. By the way, I was thinking of paying your sister a visit. And this infuriates Gale enough that he like grabs his dagger, whips it out, and just like slashes at Avery's face. And the result of this is that like a streak of blood appears on his cheek and like starts dripping, and Avery kind of puts his hand up to his face and touches it and like looks at the blood and he's like, "You little bastard. So you can actually hurt me. That doesn't mean you can kill me. You couldn't take me in a fight. Not with your little daggers. Your friends, they'd be dead in an instant." And Gale says, "If I can do that to you, I can kill you." And Avery says, "Yeah, but the thing is, Gale, see, you need a dagger to kill me, whereas I can just do this." And
oh god, what is he? Seraph was almost going to. He knew it wouldn't help to pull Gale back. He already did this.
He just like does a kind of like sweeping motion with his hand, and Baal just explodes into flames.
Baal does?
Yep. And
so Seraph's gonna scream, "Baal!"
Yeah, the Santi too is gonna like run to Baal, but Baal is like helplessly flailing around.
Seraph's gonna lay on hands as many attempts as it takes and use them. I know it's not. He's just going to.
Yeah, and
he's desperately gonna try and just.
It doesn't work. Imogen can cast Can she cast healing spells?
No,
I didn't
clerical.
think so. I didn't
only
think
one
so.
who can naturally, only two who can naturally do that are Baal and Seraph.
Yeah,
and Baal's unfortunately
Baal is,
not in the current situation.
Baal is trying to cure himself, but it's not working.
Seraph's trying desperately to.
He's too distracted, obviously, for the spell to work, and it's not working. The damage is
divine, basically.
It's divine, yeah.
That
it's
is
divine
in
fire.
that is in D&D. Divine damage. It's you can't do shit
and
against
he's
it. Yeah.
the god of fire, so
Yeah, it's divine fire. No, it could even pierce anything Adar's resistance is.
Yeah, so
not even counting the fact that he's the
they have to watch as Baal burns to death. He's just completely immolated, and eventually, after a minute, he falls to the floor, dead.
Seraph would have his hands on him the whole time, trying to heal him, even if it hurt.
Yep. So he'd be over there, and
he would.
Sandy's like over there trying to pour like healing potions down his mouth.
Oh, try.
But nothing's helping.
Seraph's gonna be like, it's not working.
Sandy's like, Baal, you can't leave us, Baal, get up. Like can't. He's a tree guy, so they can't measure a pulse or anything like that. But he is like black all over, and he's not responding at all. And Gale just kind of looks over his shoulder and says, like, he's dead. You killed him. And he's like, yeah, I might not be able to kill another god, but I can certainly kill their creations. No rules about that.
I'm glad Seraph didn't charge.
Yeah.
That was honestly the first instinct when Baal got set up. Well, actually, it was to charge, but then he went to heal. I'm glad that was what I did, not charge.
And he says to the Avery says to them, now, I'm a reasonable guy. You might not believe me right now with your friend there on the floor, but I'm a reasonable guy. And, really, I was expecting something more, given you took out my dragon and my giant. But now, I'm not too worried. And, he kind of, like, tries to step toward Adara, but Gale, like, steps in front of him resolutely.
I got something like, for Adara to say whenever. First, say like, with everything it needs to be said.
You will not hurt any more of my friends. And Avery asks, how are you gonna stop me, Gale? And Imogen's gonna say, you do not want to bring the wrath of Sophias and Yara upon you any more than you've already done. And he's like, huh, those two. You do realize they don't ever get involved, right? I mean, apart from blessing your friend over there. They're not going to be moved to help you.
And a quick thing, is Baal incinerated? Is he alive at this point?
No, he's dead.
He's dead.
He's not knocked out, he's actually dead. And so he's gonna, like, look over the top of Gale's head to Adara.
Mm-hmm.
And say, I'm not interested in your friends, but I have a proposition for you.
So talking to Adara, right?
Yep.
She's gonna be like, yes. Like, not, a bit shaken.
You have great skill. And despite the fact you ran away, your aunt's feeling generous towards you. If you come back with me, then she's not going to force you to marry anyone against your will, and she's not going to do any experiments on you. Just come back and join her, and everything will be fine. I promise I won't do anything else to your friends in the future. Well, unless they're stupid and decide to move against me.
Well, this actually takes back what I was going to say. She was going to say something else. So he's offering them safety. Is that what I'm hearing?
For now, yes.
And she's going to say then, if I go with you, you mean you won't harm them?
Oh, I didn't say that. I just said that I wouldn't harm them unless they moved against me. And let's face it, if they're smart, they won't. I mean, there is a condition, of course. You have to join your aunt in the fight against whatever allies they have.
She might actually ask what she was going to ask later.
Oh, okay.
That's why I don't know if it's wise to say what she wants to say.
Oh, gee, just do it.
Well, she's looking at Ball being disintegrated, and she actually grew fond of him.
Yeah.
So she was gonna say, "I'll do as you say, but I'd honestly rather you just took away everything you gave me, all of the boons you've given me, and I was just an ordinary." I was just an ordinary person with nothing special about her.
It's like, interesting. Wasn't expecting that. And he kind of like looks at them and says, I think you've learned your lesson. I think you understand who you're playing with. I don't expect your friends are going to... I don't expect your friends are going to be stupid enough to continue to move against me, and frankly, they're weaker than I really thought anyone that took down my giants would be. If any one of them was on their own, they would be dead in an instant.
That's true.
I'm starting to get bored. And besides, I somehow just don't believe you'd actually join in the fight, Adara. So, I'll tell you what. I'll leave your friends alone for now, and you can even keep your powers. But I'm not making any guarantees for the future. And let's say if you draw my interest again, things will go worse than they did now, I can promise you that. Also, give your friend the elf a message. Tell him that he has no allies, and if he's wise, he's going to stand down his armies. Anyway, I'll take that crown from you. And he just kind of like teleports and appears by Seraph and grabs it and says,
I guess he's facing him now.
Yep. And says, I'll leave you guys to mourn your friend and think over what I've said.
Sorry if I say one more thing with Seraph.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, why? Why do you have to do this? Why do you have to cause so much harm? Can't we work together? You and Sylphias?
He just laughs and says,
he's basically begging him at this point.
Why would I want to do something boring like that? And then he just vanishes back onto the plane of the gods. And Gale just kind of like falls to his knees and starts sobbing. He's and Santi is just kind of, he goes back over to Gale and just, he kind of like hugs him. He like kneels down and hugs him and says, no, it's alright, kiddo. And like Imogen goes over to Baal and says, there's nothing we can do to help him. Even Lady Xanath couldn't help him. He's not her creation. She can't do anything.
Could Lady Yara, perhaps? The only one I could think of that could.
I think she could, but we have no way of getting Baal to her. What are we gonna do?
I'll dump whatever possessions I have and carry him, if I have to.
He's too big, Sarah. Sandy's like, well, I'll help. Can't you use that teleportation stone? And Imogen's like, I can try it, but the magic here, it might screw with it. It might not work. But she takes the stone out and she tries to move them to Sylphias' palace, but the stone doesn't work.
Sarah's like, what's wrong?
She just kind of shakes her head and says, I don't know. maybe it's the magical protection in this place. There's something similar in the Whispering Woods. I think we need to leave.
Is it alright if I take hold of it?
Of course. And she hands it over
So
to
he's
Sarah.
gonna give it a shot, or... he figures maybe since he's the paladin of Sylphias, maybe he can make it work if there's something... At least give it a shot. And you're right, it's not doing anything here. Maybe there's some kind of interference. We'll have to drag him outside.
Imogen is going to say, I think if we got to the boundaries of the forest, beyond it, I mean, perhaps then we could use it. If we got out of the field of its magic.
Well, there goes the dragon head. He's just going to toss it aside. He doesn't...
And Santi, like,
No, we can't have any hope of carrying that crown.
No, well, he took... Remember, Avery took the crown.
Oh, that's right. Oh, sorry, I was just...
Yeah.
That's right, I forgot he warped in.
Yeah, so...
Gods can actually move it basically in an instant, so...
Gods can teleport.
Alright, so I'm going to knock that off our item list before I forget. So that was the Fire Giant Crown. And, if I... I'll just get rid of this for now. We'll see what happens.